Dear friend, whose voice are you listening to? Is it the voice of fear telling you it's impossible? The voice of doubt whispering God won't help you? Or the voice of defeat saying it's too late? The enemy is always speaking, trying to drown out God's truth. But Jesus says, do not be afraid, only believe. Mark 5:36. Today, it's time to shut out the lies and tune into the voice of faith. Are you ready to listen to God's truth instead? As soon as Jesus heard the word that was spoken, he said to Jairus, do not be afraid, only believe. Mark 5:36. In Mark chapter 5, we read about Jairus, a synagogue ruler, who came to Jesus because his daughter was very sick. Mark 5:21-24. His young daughter is dying, and he pleads with Jesus to come heal her. Imagine the depth of his anguish. A father watching his child suffer knows no greater pain. Yet, despite his fear and helplessness, Jairus approaches Jesus with humility and faith, believing that Christ can make a difference. As they journey to Jairus' home, something unexpected happens. Messengers arrive with devastating news. Your daughter is dead. Why bother the teacher anymore? Vil motivational. Can you imagine the weight of those words? The fragile thread of hope Jairus had been clinging to suddenly snaps. His worst nightmare has come true. But before despair takes root, Jesus steps in with divine reassurance. Don't be afraid, just believe. This moment teaches us an invaluable lesson about how to respond when life throws us curveballs. When everything seems lost, God whispers through his Spirit, fear not. He doesn't promise immediate answers or instant relief, but he does offer something far more valuable, peace, rooted in faith. The power of faith over fear. Jesus was telling Jairus to shift his focus from fear to faith, from despair to hope. He was reminding him that God's power is not limited by human circumstances. Likewise, in our own lives, we may encounter moments where fear tries to overtake us. We may receive bad news, experience loss, or face obstacles that seem impossible to overcome. But Jesus speaks the same words to us today. Do not be afraid, only believe. After Jesus spoke these words to Jairus, he continued to his house. When they arrived, the mourners were already gathered, weeping and wailing because they believed all hope was lost. But Jesus knew otherwise. He declared that the child was not dead, but only sleeping. Many laughed at him because they could not see beyond their reality. But Jesus took the child by the hand and said, little girl, I say to you, arise. Mark 5:41. Immediately she got up and walked. What seemed impossible to man was possible for God. This miracle teaches us that faith is the key to experiencing the power of God in our lives. When we trust him, even in the most difficult situations, he can turn things around. He can restore what was lost, heal what was broken, and make a way where there seems to be no way. How can we apply Mark 5:36 in our daily lives? Trust God's promises. The Bible is filled with promises from God. When fear tries to creep in, remind yourself of scriptures like Isaiah 41:10, fear not, for I am with you. Meditate on his word and let his truth replace fear with faith. Pray with confidence. Prayer connects us with God's power. When we feel afraid, instead of dwelling on the problem, bring it to Jesus. Just as Jairus sought Jesus, we too must seek him and trust that he hears us. Surround yourself with faith-filled people. Notice that Jesus only allowed a few people to follow him into the room where the miracle took place. Mark 5:37. Sometimes we need to distance ourselves from voices of doubt and surround ourselves with people who encourage our faith. In Mark 5, we see the incredible outcome of Jairus' decision to believe. When they reach the house, Jesus raises the little girl from the dead, restoring her to life and bringing immense joy to her family. What seemed impossible became reality through faith. Friends, this same promise holds true for you and me. God invites you to release your fears and embrace faith. He longs to transform your darkest moments into opportunities for His glory to shine brightly. Just as He spoke life into Jairus' situation, He desires to breathe new hope into yours. So I encourage you, when fear knocks on your door, answer with faith. When doubt tries to steal your peace, cling to the promises of God. And when life feels chaotic, remember the words of Jesus. Don't be afraid, just believe. May these words echo in your heart and mind, empowering you to walk boldly in faith, knowing that the one who calls you is always faithful. Your story isn't over yet. God still has miracles waiting to unfold.